Investigator takes the stand in the Steve Nodine murder trial.
That investigator faced a tough cross-examination from Nodine's attorney.
And it all concerned the crime scene. Our April Douglas is here to explain this. April?
Well, defense attorney Dennis Knisley asked the lead investigator with the Gulf Shores Police Department if this was their first murder case. Knisley grilled this investigator about his police report, who had handled Angel Downs' body, and if any tests were done to find out if she'd fired a gun. Now, this investigator also testified today that any fingerprints on the gun had been smudged. Day 3 of testimony in the Steve Nodine murder case. Picked up with Detective Justin Clopton with the Gulf Shores Police Department. Clopton testified to a number of prescription pills found in Downs' home, a partially smoked marijuana cigarette, and a needle and syringe. April Singleton, an acquaintance of Angel Downs, listened to the testimony.
She was just beautiful in her appearance, in her way that she conducted this meeting. She was so articulate and she was so intelligent. That's what struck me, because she knew everything about building a home. And I just thought that it's a crime that she was murdered, in my opinion, Mother's Day of this year. And I also think it's a crime that her character is being assassinated this entire week.
Downs was found with a gunshot wound to the right side of her head on Mother's Day in the driveway of her Gulf Shores home. During opening statements, District Attorney Judy Newcomb made reference to the position of Downs' hair. Newcomb described it as fanned out like a halo. One paramedic who worked to save Downs' life said he made a special effort not to disturb her hair. An expert is expected to testify for the prosecution that the scene was staged. Yet the lead investigator, Clopton, did not make mention of Downs' hair at all in his report. Defense attorney Dennis Knisley said, "So it wasn't significant enough for you to include in your report?" Detective Justin Clopton said, "No, sir, it wasn't." Knisley pointed out that many people had touched Downs that night, from concerned neighbors comforting her to paramedics who tried to save her life, and they could have moved her hair. The defense says Angel Downs killed herself, but people who knew her think otherwise.
I want to see justice served. I want to see Angel Downs' murderer put in jail. And I want the story of who this woman was and what a dear person she was.
Now, there was not a gun paraffin test performed on Angel Downs. Even though the lead investigator, he requested it, it just wasn't done. Now, that test would have determined if she'd handled a gun. Now, a corporal with the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office, he also testified today, and he testified about the night Steve Nodine was interviewed hours after Angel Downs' death. He testified that Nodine cried and his eyes appeared red. Coming up on your only local news at 5:30, we'll get into more of that interview and also about clothes that were found in the back of Steve Nodine's county-issued truck. Now, of course, this story is one that has generated a lot of comments on the internet. We're constantly updating our Facebook pages, our website, and Twitter. Chastity Bird has been in the courtroom all morning. She's been tweeting for us. A lot of people, a lot of interest in this case, Chastity.
That is right, April. We've heard about the physical evidence, the video, the dramatic pictures. We've also heard dramatic testimony from Angel Downs' sister, Susan Bloodworth, as well as investigators and first responders. But we want to know what you think. Here's your question tonight on Facebook. Tonight's question: what's more important, physical evidence or witness testimony? Log on to our Facebook page to comment. Now, last night we also posted a question for you, and that question last night was, we asked you about body cams and worn by police at crime scenes. David Preston wrote this on Facebook: the sticky thing here is that the officer has to turn these cameras on and off manually. They are not like dash cams that automatically turn on when the lights go on. So we want you to get involved with us on our Facebook page, on the Fox 10 Facebook page. We are also updating. April is sending stuff to the web throughout the day on fox10tv.com. You will see the headline on fox10tv.com of the Nodine murder trial. And I'm also tweeting throughout the day. If you are on Twitter, follow at Chastity Bird on Twitter. And of course, we will continue to have the latest here on Fox 10 News at 5 and 5:30. We'll have another report coming up in just a little bit. Reporting live from Bay Minette, Chastity Bird, Fox 10 News.